What if everything you thought about horror movie posters was completely wrong? I'm not exaggerating when I say this. The posters on my wall might have ruined my life. You know how some people obsess over vinyl records or vintage comics? For me, it was horror posters, authentic ones framed and backlit in my tiny one-bedroom apartment. They're the Exorcist original, the Japanese version of The Ring, even obscure ones like Messiah of Evil. Each one made my place feel like a museum of nightmares, and I loved it. But there's one thing I never noticed until it was too late. Each poster had a symbol, a small, almost invisible detail, a shadow, or a face in the background, or an odd letter, placed exactly the same in each design. At first, I thought it was some studio logo or an artist's signature, but it wasn't. It started with a dream. I woke up at 2:17 a.m., shivering. I couldn't remember what I dreamt, but I had that awful sensation like something had been in the room. Not just a nightmare. Something felt real, tangible. I sat up and glanced around. The soft glow from my horror wall was still on, casting that warm, nostalgic light I always loved. But one poster was crooked, the Devil's Backbone. I don't remember it being like that before bed. So I got up, straightened it, and went back to sleep. But the next night, the same thing happened. Same time, 2:17 a.m. Same feeling, same crooked poster. That's when I started paying attention. I took a picture of the poster before bed the third night. When I woke up, it was crooked again. I checked the photo. Straight. I hadn't touched it. No one else lives with me. The windows were shut, doors locked. I even checked the Nest Cam. Nothing. Just static at exactly 2:17 a.m. for 7 seconds. Goosebumps. So I did something I now regret. I went frame by frame, zooming into the posters in that 7 seconds of footage. Every single one, every horror poster had changed. Microscopic changes. Eyes that weren't looking at the camera before, now were. A hand that wasn't there earlier, now reaching from the corner. And in all of them, the same symbol. A spiral, barely visible, usually hidden in the background, like someone wanted it seen, but only if you were really paying attention. That symbol wasn't in the original posters. I checked high-res scans online. Nothing. It was like it had appeared over time after being on my wall. Like the act of displaying them invited something in. I didn't sleep the next night. I went deep into Reddit threads, horror forums, even an old horror design community on Discord. Nothing concrete until I posted my experience anonymously. Only one person replied. A user with no profile picture, no posts, just a message. You saw the spiral. You need to remove the posters. All of them. Don't burn them. Don't sell them. Just remove and face them down. It felt like a prank, but I couldn't shake it. The next night, I heard scratching from behind the walls. I live on the 5th floor. No pets. It wasn't rats. It was deliberate, like fingernails dragging across drywall. At exactly 2:17 a.m., my fire alarm went off. The hallway light outside flickered and died. And for 7 seconds, my apartment was completely silent. No city sounds, no ticking clock, not even the buzz of my fridge. Just silence, and the feeling that someone was standing right behind me. I took the advice. Ripped the posters down, faced them down on the floor. Every single one. The moment I did, I heard my fridge hum again. The streetlights flickered back on. The feeling lifted, but it didn't end. 2 nights later, I visited a friend, Kyle, who also collects horror memorabilia. I hadn't told him what happened. We were watching old trailers on VHS, just hanging out, when I noticed one of his posters, Suspiria, had the spiral tucked into the curtain folds. Same style, same placement. I asked him about it. He hadn't noticed. Brushed it off. I left early that night. The next morning, Kyle didn't answer his phone. That afternoon, I got a text from his girlfriend. "Did you talk to Kyle last night?" He's not responding. I found him just sitting in front of the TV this morning. He's not speaking, just staring. We called an ambulance. I visited him in the hospital. He wouldn't make eye contact, wouldn't say a word. His eyes kept darting to the corner of the room, and he kept mouthing something under his breath. I leaned closer. He was repeating the same phrase. "It watches through the ink. It watches through the ink." I don't know what this thing is. If it's even a thing. Maybe it's just a pattern. A viral curse that spreads through design. like a sigil encoded in the artwork of our favorite nightmares. I went home and burned all the posters, except one, the original Rosemary's Baby. It was my favorite, and I couldn't let it go. I faced it down, sealed it in a plastic sleeve, and shoved it in the back of my closet. Last night, I heard a soft tearing sound coming from that closet. I haven't opened it yet, but I think the spiral is moving. I didn't sleep at all the night after I heard that tearing sound from the closet. It was faint but sharp, like something slow and deliberate, a paper being peeled apart layer by layer. The sound was so unnatural, it almost felt biological, like skin splitting. I sat on the edge of my bed for hours, eyes locked on the closet door, barely breathing. Every time I thought about opening it, I froze. I kept telling myself it was just paranoia, sleep deprivation. Maybe the poster had shifted in the sleeve, maybe humidity had warped it. Maybe, but the truth is I knew something had changed. At 2:17 a.m., I heard again. Tear pause. This time, closer to the top of the closet. Like whatever was inside wasn't just tearing the poster. It was climbing out of it. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera. Slowly, I walked to the closet. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the phone steady. I reached for the handle and stopped. My screen glitched for a split second. It flashed black, then white, then froze. Then it resumed like nothing happened. Except, in that moment, for one frame, I saw something. Something standing behind me. I turned. Nothing there, but my skin felt like ice. My ears rang with that dead silence again, like the world had just skipped a beat. I should have thrown it out right then, but I didn't. I took the poster, still sealed, and drove out to the edge of town. There's a landfill past the highway, surrounded by forest. I parked on the gravel shoulder, walked into the woods, and buried it beneath rocks and dirt. I didn't just want to get rid of it. I wanted it gone, hidden. No fire, no resale, no trace. When I got back to my car, the spiral was etched into the condensation on my windshield. Perfectly drawn, dripping slowly. I didn't go back home. I drove to my brother's place and stayed on his couch. I didn't explain everything, just said I needed a break. He gave me that look like I was losing it, and maybe I was, but I knew I couldn't go back. Not to that apartment, not to that closet. Then, a week later, I got a package. No return address. Inside, a poster tube. My heart dropped. I almost didn't open it. I wish I hadn't. It was the Rosemary's Baby poster. The exact one. Same frame marks on the corners. Same crease at the bottom, right where I'd accidentally dropped it once. Only now, the spiral wasn't hidden. It was front and center, dead center, carved into the moon above the building. Like it had always been there. Like the design had evolved, corrupted, grown bolder. I destroyed it. Not just burned, shredded, dissolved with bleach, crushed it to pulp. But I don't think it matters anymore. Since that night, I've been seeing spirals everywhere. Graffiti, coffee stains, cracks in the sidewalk. I'll look away, look back, and it's gone. We're different. We're closer. I went back online, desperate for answers. I posted on the same forum. The user who warned me before? Deleted. No trace. Admins say there was never anyone by that name. Another user messaged me, anonymously. They asked, "Have you seen the final frame yet?" I asked what they meant. They replied, "Every cursed image ends with a final frame. You'll know it when you see it. But by then, it's already too late." I stopped responding. I unplugged everything. Phone, internet, threw out my TV, deleted all photos from my devices, even backups. But the spiral keeps showing up. Not digitally, physically, drawn in chalk on my doorstep, appearing in fog on the bathroom mirror, in my cereal bowl. My brother doesn't talk to me anymore. He said I called him at 2:17 a.m. 3 nights in a row, whispering something in a language he couldn't understand. I checked my call log. There's no record. But I dream of it now. A soft, rhythmic chanting, repeating phrases over and over, in a low voice that's almost mechanical. The worst part? I started drawing the spiral myself. Subconsciously, on napkins, on the back of receipts, even carved into the condensation of a bus window with my fingernail. I don't realize I've done it until someone points it out. And last night, I found a poster taped to the inside of my apartment door. Not mine. It was a design I'd never seen before. grainy, faded, almost like a lost film. A single figure standing in the distance, in a hallway of mirrors. No title, no credits, just the spiral, pulsing faintly at the center of the image. My nose started bleeding. I blacked out. When I came to, I was lying on the floor. No poster, just a faint outline where it had been taped. A sticky residue like glue and ink. And this time, I remembered the dream. A room, endless posters on every wall. All blank at first, then slowly, symbols appearing, spirals forming, faces inside them, watching, crying, screaming, and one poster still forming had my face on it. The truth is, I don't think this was ever about the posters themselves. It's about what's hidden in them, the way we're drawn to horror, the imagery, the obsession with fear as entertainment. What if those images, that aesthetic, was never meant to be art? What if someone, or something, embedded messages inside them? Messages that spread like a virus. Through pixels, through ink, through attention. That spiral? I think it's a gate. And we open it every time we look too closely. Every time we study the details. Obsess over the shadows. Chase the realism. Like I did. Like you just did. If you're watching this, and you're still thinking about that spiral, it's already seen you.